My name is Jennifer Honor, and I'm a wife, mother, worship leader, and handcrafter. Welcome to my YouTube channel, where I talk about motherhood, faith, DIY, and a little bit of everything. I hope you enjoyed today's video.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure to subscribe and also to turn on the notification bell so you can get notified every time that I put out a new video. So if you follow us on Instagram and Facebook or whatever, you know that we announced we're expecting baby number 3. And so I'm basically here to talk about my first trimester and how that went, because I did experience what is called HYPEREMESIS GRAVIDARUM. I think I'm pronouncing it right, which basically is like Latin for extreme nausea and vomiting due to pregnancy. So let me just give you a little bit background of my first 2 pregnancies. So both of them I did experience nausea and vomiting. With my first daughter, it was bad, but I was still able to finish college and I was able to work part-time. So I do remember the times that I threw up. It wasn't as much, but I did throw up. And I remember sometimes feeling really bad at work during the first trimester. But like I said, I was able to finish school and also was working part-time. So even though it was bad, I feel like, I don't know if maybe those things like distracted me, or it just wasn't as intense enough for me to not be able to do anything at all. So with my first pregnancy, you know, the first trimester was tough, but it was doable, doable tough, if that makes sense. And so with my second daughter, it was worse than the first. Because I wasn't able to work during the first trimester. I had to take short-term disability from work because it was intensified from the first pregnancy. But also, again, my husband and I were like working part-time for our apartment. We hosted events throughout the month, and so for those events, I do remember being able to go and being able to like even like, I don't know, decorate and like get things prepared and whatnot. But like right after the event, I would go straight to bed. You know, I was bedridden if I was not doing, you know, the events. So even though I was able to do a little bit of things, it was still pretty bad. I was pretty much bedridden the whole time. And I did get dehydrated because, you know, I was throwing up. I had bad nausea. And I'm the type of person who hates throwing up, so I hold off of doing it for as long as I can, and then when I can't take it anymore, I have to throw up. So because of that, I feel like throwing up during my second pregnancy was like, it was definitely more than the first pregnancy, but it was less than this third one. So with the second pregnancy, I did end up fainting because I wasn't drinking water. I couldn't drink water, so I passed out due to blah, blah. I can't talk. I passed out due to dehydration. And so coming into this third pregnancy, that's one thing that was on my mind, that okay, if I do have really bad nausea and vomiting, I'm definitely gonna make sure I try to keep fluids down because I don't want to faint again. But little did I know that this is going to be the worst of the worst. Disclaimer, I'm not sharing this story to scare anybody. This is not like a scare story or anything like that. This is just simply my reality, what I went through, and I just wanted to share that because I don't want someone else to go through it and feel like they're alone if they do end up going through it. I mean, it's inevitable. Every woman is different. Some women never have any type of symptom at all. Some have all the symptoms in the book. So every woman is different. Regardless of the story I tell or don't tell, your experience will be your experience. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just telling you my story. So around week 6, 7 is when my nausea started to kick in. At that point, it was a little bit tolerable with you know, medication. So I was on, you know, the B6 and, you know, some combination, and that would help me like for a few hours, and then I would have to take it again. So I was taking it 3 times a day, and honestly, it only worked for one day. It worked for one day, and the next day, the nausea and vomiting had intensified so much that the meds were not working anymore, but I was still kind of able to function a little bit. So fast forward to week 9, I could not do anything. Like, I was bedridden. I couldn't drink water because I couldn't keep it down. I couldn't eat anything because I couldn't keep it down. I was just throwing up, just nauseous 24/7. And on a scale of 1 to 10, the nausea was like at 10. And with each passing day, it kept increasing and intensifying. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I ended up at like 100. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. Like, I feel like sometimes when I tell stories, I kind of like to exaggerate, like, in my own life, but this is not one of those stories. Like, this is not something I can make up. This is not something I can exaggerate, because it is truly what happened. It was just really that bad. Like, I was in bed all the time, throwing up things I have not even eaten because I couldn't eat, just throwing up bile, feeling nauseous 24/7. And, I was just getting weaker and weaker. I couldn't even take a shower. I lost so much strength. I lost so much weight when I ended up going to the doctor's office. After I was starting to feel better, turns out I weighed 88 pounds. I started this pregnancy with 110 pounds, and my first trimester was so bad that I lost 22 pounds. And y'all can see me, I'm not a big person, like, I barely have any weight on me. So it was a pretty scary thing to go through. I wasn't able to eat for like 21 days. Like, it was that bad. I had no food in my system, barely had water. And like I said, because I fainted with my second daughter, I made sure to go to the emergency room or to the urgent care so I can get fluids through IV, because I couldn't keep fluids down. I couldn't drink water. So I'm thankful that I had that mindset to go to the emergency room to get some fluids, because I feel like that definitely kept me afloat. Had I not done that, I honestly don't know. There were so many nights that I went to sleep like, man, God, like, is this it? I've made peace with it. I've made peace with you. If tonight is my last night on earth, then, I guess it is, That's how bad it was. Like, I couldn't even talk because I had lost so much energy, and I was so dehydrated. I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand up straight. I didn't have enough strength to stand up straight. So even when I would have to go through the bathroom or anything like that, I was like hunched over and like walking, and like at some point I had to even crawl on the floor because I couldn't anymore. I didn't take a shower for like the whole month, I just couldn't. My husband would cook food for him and the girls. My husband, man, God bless him so much. He did such a good job taking care of me, working full time and taking care of our two girls, because he was working from home because of COVID and everything. He's working from home. The girls are both home, and so he was taking care of them, me, and working full time. I don't know how he did it, but I could tell he was kind of stressed, but he still did it because he loves me, he loves us. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. Every time he would cook food, I would have to like grab all the blankets I can get and go to the closet and cover myself up, because I didn't want to smell anything, because it would make it worse than what I'm already feeling, and I don't know how worse I can get, That's how crazy it was for me. There was one particular night I remember just Googling that, how long can you live without food and water in your system? And I think the answer that I saw on Google, it said something to the likes of 14 days without food and water, but if you're able to keep some type of water in, you can last till like 21 days or something like that. And at that point I hadn't eaten for 3 weeks, so I was like, yep, this is definitely it. Like, I'm done for. Like, this is God. If this is what takes me out, then I'm okay with it. Like, it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary. And I tried praying, but I just couldn't, because I was like, man, like God, like I've been praying since the beginning of this thing and it's just getting worse and worse. Like, is there a point to praying anymore? You know, I got so discouraged. I got so hopeless. I don't know. It was just really bad. And one last thing that I want to say to end this video with was something happened recently. I was like complaining to my husband about how there are no more forks and knives, you know, cutlery in the house, because I feel like he keeps taking them out when he's in a rush to go to work or go outside, and like he wants to eat something real quick, he grabs food and then takes like the fork and like he's out. And I tell him that they never come back, so that's how all our forks and our cutlery is lost. And he was like, but babe, that's not what happened, because I was literally like about to like fight him, you know, like, where did you take all the cutlery, where did you take all the forks, like there's no fork in this house, blah 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 blah. And he just looked at me and was like, but that's not what really happened. So he got up and went to like somewhere in the kitchen and like grabbed all these forks and like knives and stuff. And I was like, he just set it down and he left. And in my head, I was like, oh, whatever, it's still your fault. You hit it anyways, you know? And then like later on, he was like, oh, by the way, you're welcome for finding the forks. I only hid them because I was scared you were going to hurt yourself during your first trimester. And I just got really quiet and I was like, dang, I mean, it was really bad and all, but I don't think I was that suicidal. Like, yes, I had accepted that if that's what takes me out, I'm okay. But I wasn't going to do anything to myself, wasn't going to harm myself. But I can understand how or why he would think that, because like he was the only person that saw firsthand what I was going through. So like I honestly don't see why he couldn't think that, you know? So yeah, but fast forward to week 14? Yeah, week 14, that's when my husband was like, okay, you know what, Jennifer, I have to do something, because if I don't, I'm afraid I'm going to lose you. So he started like force feeding me. He would start with like a teaspoon of what's it called? Applesauce. You have to eat this, okay? Just a teaspoon. If you just eat the teaspoon, that's fine. So I would eat the teaspoon of applesauce for the whole day. That's all I ate. And I tried hard to not let it come out, and it didn't. And so like the next day I increased it to 2 teaspoons, and the next day I added more. And honestly, it started to get better. So after that, you know, with every passing day, I was eating a little bit more and a little bit more, and I was getting better and better. And then I had my next doctor's appointment, and you know, so this whole time my OBGYN had like a conference that she was at, so she was barely in the office. And when I called the very first time at the beginning of when all this was going on, and I didn't get her, I felt like the others in her office were just like very dismissive and like didn't really take it seriously. So already I'm the type of person that doesn't like asking for help, and so if I do and I get a dismissive answer, I'm not coming back, you know. So that was the whole ordeal with my doctor's office. She was in there, and she's a great person and all that, but she was in there, and because she was in there, the rest of her office, I mean, I felt like they didn't really care much. But when I did end up seeing her towards the time that I was starting to get better, man, she was so scared for me. She literally wanted me to be admitted to the hospital that day. But then I told her that no, I'm getting better now, and like I'm starting to like crave certain foods. If I do go to the hospital, I don't think I'm gonna have access to those foods like immediately when I want them. So she was like, okay, since you're getting better and you're eating, I'm gonna trust you. But she did want me to go back to the emergency room like right after my appointment to go and get more fluids, and to also get some potassium and magnesium in my system, because, you know, I was very low on those. And we also did some blood work and run some blood tests, and later when the results came back, it was not good at all. Like some of the results were like at the extreme end, some were at the like, extreme, you know, bottom. And so basically, in short, what the test results showed was that like my liver function was decreasing because there was nothing for my liver to do. So it was decreasing in its function, you know, because I wasn't eating, wasn't doing much. And so, yeah, that was a little scary because if I had kept going at the rate I was going without eating and more water, like things could have gotten worse. Even when I started eating and getting better, like it took me a while to retrain my leg muscles because I had lost all the energy and I had lost all the strength that I couldn't even climb up the stairs anymore without like holding on with my hands. So about 2 weeks after I started getting better, I had to retrain my leg muscles to like, okay, climb up on its own, to step up on its own and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was, that was one of the crazy things. Also, I did want to mention that once I started eating again, I ate like every single hour. And I'm talking about big meals. Like it felt as if I had not eaten for my entire life. And it felt good. Like it felt good because coming from where I was that I couldn't even smell anything. And then now to like wanting food so bad, man, I was so happy and I was so excited. And I was thankful that I was able to have access to all of those foods because like, I mean, I guess with me not eating, I mean, it might not have impacted our grocery budget that much, but once I was ready to eat, you know, we had enough money left to like buy me all that I want. I was just craving like shrimp burger and like Alfredo pasta. Like that's all I was eating, like interchangeably. And then in between every meal, I was eating, you know, like a snack or like a heavy snacks, you know, like pancakes and like eggs and like cream cheese and just gooey fatty stuff. Okay, I was craving all those. So it felt nice. So within a week I had gained back like 8 pounds, which I never knew was possible in my life because I barely gained any weight. So now I know the secret to me gaining weight is just eating consistently. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much my first trimester story. I feel like there's a lot more to it than I was able to share or even remember, you know, but if you do have any questions, any specific questions that you'd like to know, just leave them in the comment sections below and I'll answer them because I may have forgotten a lot. I know I have forgotten a lot because I mean, it was a lot that I was going through. Yeah, like, oh, and I remember, because I wasn't eating and I wasn't drinking, like my heart rate increased and I was trying to take like some medicine to help me sleep because I couldn't sleep at all, like especially at night. Like when I wanted to be able to sleep, I couldn't sleep. So when I would take the sleep medicine, man, my heart would be pounding, it would be beating so fast because I was so dehydrated. That's Hope crying. She's such a crier, crying for everything. But anyways, yeah, like my heart was like beating so fast and I was so scared. Like imagine laying in your bed covered in your blanket, all you can hear is your own thoughts and your heart pounding. Like that's scary. And you're trying to go to sleep. I felt like that was part of the reasons why I felt like I probably was not gonna wake up the next day because like my heart was like racing and like just pounding the whole time. So yeah, that was definitely one of the scary moments of the whole time. But like I said, if you have any specific questions, just drop them in the comment section below and I'll answer them. I feel like this video was so all over the place, but I hope I got across what I was trying to say. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I will see you guys in my next video. Make sure to share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and catch you later.